Let us offer our consecration to the Lord. Lord, let us never allow ourselves to be discouraged in our service of you. Let us never allow ourselves to look upon others and their holiness as a sign for us to give up our quest for holiness. Let us always avoid the sin of envy of others, especially in spiritual matters, and let us trust in you always in all we do. And we ask this through Christ our Lord. Well, you may have seen an interesting concept of my prayer today. The reason is, today is the 17th of December. Now, this begins the 8 days before Christmas. Remember, I can't do math to save my life, but 17 and 8 are 25. So these are the 8 days before Christmas. And remember, there's something called the Octave of Christmas that follows, more commonly known as the Octave of Easter, which are the 8 days that follow Easter. Keep in mind that Easter is actually 8 days long. It is one celebration for 8 days. So Easter is 8 days long. Well, Christmas, even though we don't do the same thing, because Christmas is a powerful holy day, but not as powerful as Easter, we do have a special celebration for 8 days, most of them actually being special days. For example, this year, the day after Christmas is the Solemnity of the Most Holy Family. So we see all that's all there. Well, on the 8 days before Christmas, we have what are known as the O Antiphons. And each of those are these antiphons that begin with the letter O, and they worship Christ in all his different names, well, some of his different names. And the O Antiphons, you may remember them in light of the song, O Come, Emmanuel. And we look at those words because that is the O Antiphons in song. Now, obviously, over the years, the language may be different. However, we do, from when O Come Emmanuel was first written, but we do understand these O Antiphons. So today is the first of the O Antiphons. And here it is on the 17th, and it goes, O wisdom of God Most High, guiding creation with power and love, come to teach us the path of knowledge. And that is a name for Jesus, O wisdom of our God Most High. Because remember, Jesus is the Word of God incarnate, and another way to describe that is the wisdom of God. So today's O Antiphon, which is actually precedes in the evening prayer, the Magnificat, O wisdom of our God Most High, guiding creation with power and love, come to teach us the path of knowledge. Now I'm going to say tomorrow's as well, since we're not on the air tomorrow. O leader of the house of Israel, giver of the law to Moses on Sinai, come to rescue us with your mighty power. So that is Saturday, and Sunday is O root of Jesse's stem, sign of God's love for all his people, come to save us without delay. So it's another name for Jesus each and every time. So we look at that beginning this day. Now today is a reading that comes to us every year. Remember, when we're looking at the liturgical calendar, the calendar will give us a list of what happens on, we'll say, Wednesday of the third week of Ordinary Time. But that Wednesday isn't always on the same date. Those dates change depending on a lot of things having to do with when Advent starts, which obviously has a lot to do with when Easter happens, and it's worked back and it's forward, and it all has to do with phases of the moon and things like that. It really does. So all of that is there, that calendar. So the date for example, Wednesday of the third week of Ordinary Time is going to be different every year. But as we approach Christmas, this day is the beginning of certain days, the 8 days, that are exact every year. So the day changes, but the date does not. So today is the 17th of December. So last year, it would have been 2 days ago, because last year was a leap year. So I'm assuming, if I have this right, which I probably don't, and I don't have a calendar in front of me from 2020, let me think, this would be December. No, actually, last year it would have been 1 day behind, so last year would have been on Thursday. And then, of course, the year before it would have been on Tuesday. So this is December 17th. The readings are always the same for December 17th, and everything is always the same for December 17th because this is the first of the 8 days prior to Christmas. And the reading we have is an interesting one. It's what is known as the Genealogy. And it really goes on to describe who were the descendants of Joseph. So we see the genealogy there. And there's there is a important reason why that is there. Now, one of the things to keep in mind is that this is always a list of names. And really, they're fascinating because if you have someone who likes to read unusual names or pronounce things that it's a challenge to them, this is one of the readings because it's all these names from all these times. When I was in the seminary college, it was just interesting the way someone would read it, and it would just always kind of struck us funny in a sense, even though they would read it just the way it came across. When I was in the seminary house of theology, they took things a lot more seriously. But, of course, we were younger then, even though I was older. I was 10 years older than all my classmates because I was a Navy veteran. But anyway, so you see these important names. Well, we're going to talk about those names on the other side of the break. You're listening to St. Anthony Overnight from St. Anthony Parish in Allston, Massachusetts, right here on WEZE 590 AM. And you can also hear us at CatholicAudiomedia.com. That's CatholicAudiomedia.com. And don't forget, if you're listening to our program now and you're here for the first time, welcome. We're happy you're here. We hope you're going to join us as we go through Christmas. And if by chance you've been here on a regular basis, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. And everyone, just share where you're hearing this. Let people know where to find this. We're at CatholicAudiomedia.com. We're also at WEZE 590 AM at midnight and 3 o'clock in the morning. And you can also hear us at WEZEradio.com. All of that to let people know where to find us, and we'll talk more about the website on the other side of the break. In the meantime, we'll be right back right after this. We are presently in the process of evaluating the effectiveness of our programming for our mission at St. Anthony Parish in Allston, Massachusetts. In a few weeks, we have to decide whether to renew our contract for another year. So, we need your feedback. Are these programs helping you become stronger in your faith? Have these programs affected your relationship with Christ? Please send any comment to us through CatholicAudiomedia.com/contact. That's CatholicAudiomedia.com/contact. You may also call us using the number listed there, 617-297-7452. That's 617-297-7452. You can even write to us at St. Anthony Parish, 43 Holton Street, Allston, Massachusetts, 02134. That's St. Anthony Parish, 43 Holton Street, Allston, Massachusetts, 02134. Every comment will be evaluated as we make the decision whether to renew for a new year. And don't forget our website, as you heard, CatholicAudiomedia.com. You can check out our website, check out the archives of the show. You can check out our Substack newsletter, and you can also check out various things there. You can send us a comment, as you heard. You can also send us a donation if you'd like. CatholicAudiomedia.com/donate. And you can check out all kinds of things. Remember, I also have there the top 10 list from every week. It actually is based on the past month, but it changes every week. So the top 10 list, you can find that on the podcast videos page. Over there at CatholicAudiomedia.com, you can also buy some stuff. I guess they call that merch. Merchandise. Anyway, you can buy some stuff, including my latest book. And check that out on Kindle or on paperback. Or you can also try out some of these mugs we have there as well. And by the way, if you do purchase a paperback and you want it signed and you live in the Boston area, come see me. More than happy to do it for you. That's CatholicAudiomedia.com. So anyway, we're just going to look at some of the names here because this is important. The names lead us to Joseph. So we begin with Abraham and we continue all the way down through Joseph. And so we see Abraham as the father of our faith, and we see Abraham as the father of Isaac, Isaac the father of Jacob, Jacob is the father of Judah and his brothers. Now Judah, of course, becomes the name of the land on which Jesus walks because Israel is no longer there after the Assyrian invasion in the 8th century BC. Israel is named after Jacob, who was the grandson of Abraham. And Jacob himself is an interesting little character. Remember, these people are not living saints necessarily. They're regular people. Jacob gets the blessing from Isaac, his father, in cooperation with his mother, who cheats because it was actually supposed to go to his brother Esau, but they didn't like Esau, so they worked out this little deal, and we're just going to kind of do this, and it'll work. Don't worry, just trust me. And so what happens is Jacob ends up, with the cooperation of his mother, essentially stealing his blessing, which is, basically the blessing from the father is basically you've got everything, because Esau was the firstborn and basically deceives the father, who had trouble seeing. And this is Isaac, by the way, had trouble seeing, and deceives him into giving the blessing to Judah. So Esau lost out. Now, Jacob is listed there, who later is known as Israel. And he becomes the father of Judah, who is obviously named after the name from which the land on which Jesus walks is taken. And you have all these other names all the way down the line. And we can't go through all of them because there are just so many. But let me take another one. We can look at David, and we know the story of David. David was the greatest king of Israel, even though, I have told you before, he mastered the art of killing the messenger. But he was the great king of Israel. He was the one that made Israel this great, powerful nation at the time. He was a powerful man. He was just the great man of Israel. So every time you hear predictions of Jesus, prophecies of Jesus, it always that there will come from the house of David. It's always about David. And in fact, this lineage is David is in there. And David, so we go Abraham all the way down several names to David, down several names all the way. And as we look at this, we see this reality of, as we understand, these are very human names. David, extremely human being, extremely human being, if you know what I mean, an extremely human person. Great sinner. He committed adultery and tried to cover it up, and it worked so poorly that it's 3,000 years later, and we're still talking about it. But in his cover-up, he committed murder. So he's certainly no angelito, as we have said in some of my former parishes. And that's just one of many examples of just the very human lineage that is there. So anytime you say, well, I'm not good enough to be even loved by Jesus, you can say, well, you may be doing a lot better than some of his ancestors. Let me tell you this one. So we can see that it's a very human history, and that's why this lineage today is so important. In Cristo vivimos.